This is Erin Fisher, Technology Integration Facilitator for the East Bridgewater Public Schools. And this is an example of how you could use Google Draw to manipulate a word sort that you may have previously used a worksheet for. Now, worksheets with cutting and pasting and sorting are still an extremely valuable skill. So I don't think this should replace that in any way. However, occasionally you may want to try using tech to do this skill, as it incorporates a lot of skills with clicking, dragging, and still includes the skills of sorting and looking at phonemic awareness and words formation. So here's an example of how you could do this. You can have your worksheet. You can scan it in, or you could just even take a picture of it and send it right into Google Draw, and I can help you do that. And then from here, you have the option of cropping. Cropping means cutting, so I can cut it. And for this one, I'm going to cut it like this. And then I hit the crop tool, and it's cut. Then I'm going to make it a little bigger. And from here, I'm going to download it as a JPEG. You'll see why I'm doing that. I already did that piece, and it went here. Now I'm going to go to a Google slide presentation, which I can open from my drive. And you'll see I have my examples here that I'm going to show you. But I can insert this as a background. So I'm going to hit background, image, I'm going to choose, and I just drag the one I just downloaded here. And it puts it right there. I'm going to erase these text boxes. And now this is locked. It can't be moved. So this is like the template. Then, back to that worksheet, I'm just going to undo. Control-Z, 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 Control-Z. And I'm going to cut and take that word bank. Make sure you don't scroll up too high, like I just did. I'm going to just cut that right down, hit my crop tool, and now I'm going to Control-C or right-click copy, and I'm going to go back here. And I'm going to just paste this here. This is going to help me remember what the words were, just so I have it for reference. I can delete it later. I'm going to take these words and I'm going to put in a text box. I'm going to use my line tool and put a line around it. I'm going to make it a little thicker, and I'm going to use the dash so it looks like this. Then I'm going to put in my text, free. I'm going to make it a little bigger. And then I will also center it. And now I might shrink my text box a little. And there we go. I have my word. Now once I have one, it's going to be easy to make the rest. I'm going to right-click copy or Control-C, Control-V. And now I'm going to just type in my other words. And I'm going to do that for all of them. And I might put some over on this side. I can just move this over here, and then I can go over to this side, and I'll put my words in over here. And what's nice is once they're all done, if you decide you need to resize them, because these are going to be big, they might not be able to fit them all, I can just drag or highlight all of them, and I can make these smaller. Uh-oh, my text. I can also make my text smaller. And that's there. So when I'm finished, I will end up with something that looks like this. Now notice how I put some pictures in here. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to duplicate the slide. See, it gives me the same slide. So now on this one, I don't want my drawings. I just want this to be a word sort. And I can put directions on it if I want to, over here on the side. Directions. Or I can post my directions in Google Classroom if this is the task. Or I can give oral directions. So I'll put my directions here of what I want students to do. So this one would be sort the words with the EE or EA sound into the correct column. Now on this page, maybe I have some students who are non-readers, or maybe I want to use a picture sort instead of a word sort. So now I'm going to take out my words because they're on this slide. So they're there, and you can always undo. Nothing's permanent in Google, which is nice. You can always undo. And this one I'm going to make a picture sort. And then on this one, I'm not going to do pictures or words. So I'm going to delete this one so I don't have to erase everything. I'm going to duplicate just my picture slide. So now I have my word slide, my pictures, and this one I'm going to take the pictures off, and maybe I'll put some text boxes in for my students like this, and I'll put the line around it so they see it. And I'll make it a little smaller. I'll put a couple in, and I'll give directions, and I'll tell the kids they need to think of the words. So now I've got 3 different levels of skill, and I can always add more pictures or more words. And I can push this out via Google Classroom, which was a whole nother training in itself, but it's very easy. And we can make a copy for each student. So each student would get this blank template, and they can sort it. And at any moment, you can go to your teacher computer and bring up any student's work and display it on the smartboard. While it's active, they could be sorting it, and you could show it on your smartboard. So this is an option where it's easy to differentiate the same skill. And what's nice is if you had each teacher make one of these, you can all use each other's within Google Classroom. So even though it takes a little bit of work to make the initial one, you will now have it forever, and you can share it with your colleagues and they can use it too. So if each person made one, then you'd have 8 versions or 8 different activities that you could use throughout the year. Not to replace, just as an alternative. Maybe one day you do the cut and paste sort, maybe another day you do a text sort, but it gives you some options. Have fun.